Cesar Millan, the Dog Whisperer, is renowned for his unique ability to train even the most difficult dogs and turn them into loyal companions. However, few know that behind his fame lies a life filled with personal struggles and challenges. Recently, Cesar faced a huge shock in his life that left him unable to control his emotions. Let's dive into this shocking story about Cesar Millan and find out why he fell before an unpredictable challenge. Beloved and admired by millions, Cesar is not just a talented dog trainer, but also a strong man who has overcome personal struggles. However, life hasn't always been easy, and recent devastating news has left him shattered. Join me as we uncover the untold secrets and see how Cesar Millan's life has changed after this shock. If you want to learn more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next video. Cesar Millan, the globally renowned dog trainer, shocked the courtroom when he collapsed after hearing the verdict. This moment left many stunned, and some even in tears. News from the Los Angeles court quickly spread across the United States overnight, sending shockwaves through public opinion. Everyone knew Millan as a beloved dog trainer with millions of fans, but now, his career and reputation faced the biggest challenge of his life. Can someone once considered a master in his field overcome this storm? Millan, the man loved by millions, was brought to tears as he heard the final verdict in a highly controversial trial. This moment left everyone in the courtroom silent, while outside, the public buzzed with countless questions about justice and truth. Once, Millan was a beacon of hope for desperate families seeking to control their pets. He saved countless dogs considered untrainable, bringing joy and reunification to many families. He not only changed the lives of the dogs, but also touched the hearts of millions of animal lovers around the world. Millan has helped countless dogs, but his journey has not always been smooth. The investigation began nearly a year ago when authorities started reviewing complaints about his training methods at the center. Initially, it was just a routine inspection, but as allegations of financial and international connections grew more complex, the case took a turn for the worse. Millan has firmly maintained his innocence, insisting that all the dogs at the center were cared for to the highest standards. He has never done anything to harm the animals he has dedicated his life to protecting. According to him, every unfortunate incident was related to dogs that had severe health issues and were scheduled for euthanasia before arriving at the center. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a veterinarian working with the Millan Foundation, gave shocking testimony in court. She revealed that the dogs taken in by Millan had suffered under harsh conditions, being starved, abused, and even forced to fight in bloody rings. Many were injured, both physically and mentally, with their wounds left untreated. However, for Millan, these dogs were not hopeless creatures. They were lives deserving of a second chance. He took on the most difficult cases, knowing the risks, simply because he could never turn his back on these unfortunate beings. Amid the numerous accusations aimed at Millan, one touching story was overlooked. Sarah Thompson, a 58-year-old elementary school teacher from Colorado, took the stand with tears streaming down her face. She recounted a pivotal moment in October 2018 when she turned to Millan for one last attempt to save her daughter's aggressive Rottweiler mix. The dog, named Bear, had been adopted as a puppy and became Emma's only companion after the tragic loss of her father in a car accident. Bear was Emma's emotional anchor, the reason she had the strength to keep going. As Bear grew older, The dog began to show unusual aggressive behavior, attacking strangers and other dogs. The family sought help from professional trainers, even considering medication, but Bear's condition didn't improve. Things reached a breaking point when Bear lunged at a delivery person, prompting animal control to intervene. The Thompson family faced an agonizing choice: address Bear's behavioral issues or accept euthanasia. Emma was heartbroken, but with Millan's help, a miraculous turnaround occurred. Mrs. Thompson was facing the heartbreaking possibility of losing her closest companion, Bear. In desperation, she wrote a letter to Cesar Millan's show, unsure if she would ever get a response. But instead of a rejection, Millan's team called, informing her that they would be filming a special episode at her home on a fall morning. Millan arrived at the Thompson family's mountain house, and within the first hour, he closely observed Bear, studying every behavior. Suddenly, Millan silently looked at Emma and asked, "Have you been getting headaches lately?" The unexpected question left the Thompsons stunned. Millan continued, "Is the house warmer than usual?" When Emma responded that they thought it was due to stress, Millan nodded slightly and suggested they open the windows for ventilation. Then he pulled Mrs. Thompson aside and whispered, "I think your family is being poisoned by carbon monoxide." At first, Mrs. Thompson couldn't believe what she was hearing. But when Millan explained that symptoms like headaches, drowsiness, flushed faces, and Bear's behavioral changes could be signs of carbon monoxide poisoning, she began to worry. Millan quickly instructed a team member to call emergency services, but he continued training Bear, keeping up the appearance of a regular session. Soon after, firefighters arrived, and the test results left the Thompson family horrified. They discovered a major fault in the heating system, causing a dangerous carbon monoxide leak. One firefighter warned them that if they had stayed in the house for another night, no one would have woken up the next morning. When asked who first recognized the danger, Mrs. Thompson replied confidently, "Cesar was the one who noticed it." Millan didn't just stop at warning about the toxic gas. He continued to monitor the health of the Thompson family for months afterward. He wanted to ensure that they recovered fully and that Bear could adapt to his new life, no longer affected by the carbon monoxide. Bear's aggressive behavior significantly decreased under Millan's careful guidance. The once ferocious dog transformed and became a therapy dog at Thompson's school, helping children struggling with reading and emotional processing. Mrs. Thompson, choking on her tears as she stood before the jury, said, "Cesar Millan didn't just save Bear. He saved my daughter, my granddaughter, and me. The man you are considering sending to prison is the one who noticed the danger that even the doctors missed." One of the most touching moments in the trial came from Gloria Sanchez, a 62-year-old kindergarten teacher and mother of 3. She recounted how Millan saved her son David, a happy boy, until he was attacked by a neighbor's dog at the age of 4. The physical wounds healed, but the fear of dogs deeply ingrained itself in David's mind. He couldn't go to the park, visit friends who had dogs, and was terrified whenever he saw a dog on the street. This fear caused David to become increasingly isolated, leading to severe depression. The family tried many therapeutic methods, but none helped David regain his joy for life. One night, while watching Cesar Millan's show, David was drawn to Millan's patience and gentleness in interacting with the dogs. This was the first time in years that David showed any interest in dogs. Gloria decided to reach out to Millan's training center, not expecting much, but a miracle happened. Cesar Millan personally called and invited David to spend a week at his farm. Millan took the time to gradually introduce David to friendly, gentle dogs, with no rush or pressure. Slowly, David began to overcome his fear and stepped into the world of four-legged friends in a way no one had ever been able to do before. One afternoon, Millan sat down next to David and said something the boy would never forget. Fear is not respect, and respect is not fear. Once you understand the difference, you won't fear anymore. Those words changed David's life forever. He walked into the farm with a heart heavy with fear, but when he walked out, he had found passion and purpose. Today, David Sanchez has not only overcome his childhood trauma, but has become a veterinary technician, dedicating himself to helping other children with trauma through animal therapy. He continues to carry forward the good that Cesar Millan gifted him. When standing before the jury, Gloria Sanchez concluded her testimony with a deeply emotional message. Cesar Millan not only helped my son overcome his fears, but also gave him a new life, a future we thought we'd never have. Please don't take him away. There are so many families like ours that need him. The courtroom fell silent, filled with emotion. Millan's story was no longer just about a dog trainer, but about a man who dedicated his life to helping both people and animals find light in the darkness. Cesar Millan doesn't just change the behavior of animals. He also helps people find their way back to the right path in life. The emotional testimony of Angela Martinez, a 54-year-old single mother, is the strongest evidence of this. She shared how Millan saved her son, Miguel, from a dark path. When Miguel turned 16, his father abandoned the family, and the anger consumed him. He started skipping school, joined a gang, and drifted away from his family. The family's German Shepherd Rex also became increasingly aggressive, attacking others. The family was given an ultimatum: improve Rex's behavior or surrender him to euthanasia. When Miguel learned that the cost of attending Millan's seminar was beyond his family's means, he decided to stand outside, hoping to catch a glimpse of the man he saw as his last hope. What happened next changed everything. Millan noticed Miguel, and instead of simply signing autographs, he stopped, looked Miguel directly in the eye, and asked, "Why aren't you inside?" When Miguel admitted that his family couldn't afford the tickets, Millan did something extraordinary. He invited Miguel to attend the seminar for free, and after hearing the full story, he offered to come to their home the next day to help with Rex. On a fateful Sunday afternoon, Millan not only worked with Rex but also spent hours talking to Miguel about responsibility, discipline, and the importance of positive energy. Martinez recalls the moment when she saw her son, once angry and rebellious, listening to Millan with an attention she had never seen before. When Millan said, "Your dog is reflecting your energy. When you're angry at the world, it feels like it has to protect you, but when you're calm, it feels safe." Those words awakened something in Miguel. Rex's behavior improved, and Miguel began to change. Returning to school, his grades improved, and he steered clear of negative influences. Impressed by Miguel's transformation, Millan offered him a summer job at his dog training center. This opportunity completely changed the trajectory of Miguel's life. Today, 10 years later, Miguel has not only matured, but also become a dedicated individual, giving back to others and helping them overcome their challenges. If you feel moved and want to learn more about Cesar Millan's journey of overcoming pain, leave your thoughts in the comments below this video. His story is sure to be a source of motivation for many of us. What do you think about the story above? Let us know in the comments, and feel free to share any different thoughts you may have. If you want to know more about another story, let us know. Miguel Sanchez, after receiving help from Cesar Millan, became a strong and mature individual, establishing a rehabilitation program for abandoned dogs. Most importantly, these dogs are now being used to help at-risk children who once were just like Miguel. Mrs. Martinez, Miguel's mother, ended her testimony with a heartfelt message. "There are dozens of families in our community who have been changed because of my son's work with the dogs. And my son would never have found his way without Cesar Millan. He not only rehabilitates dogs, but also rehabilitates people. Please think carefully before deciding what to do with this young man, because there are still people in the world who need him." This story is not just about dog training, but about changing lives through compassion, understanding, and faith in redemption. One of the most poignant moments of the trial came when the defense called Mrs. Martha Winters, a 72-year-old grandmother from rural Tennessee, to the witness stand. Despite her frail health, she had traveled thousands of miles to share a never-before-told story, a story that would change the way the court viewed Cesar Millan. Winters began recounting her simple life in a small cabin in the Smoky Mountains, following the passing of her husband. She chose to stay behind, refusing to leave, and her 3 rescue dogs, Bella, Max, and Cooper, were her only companions. "They're not just pets, they're my family," she said, her eyes bright with love. In February 2019, during a fierce snowstorm that swept through the area, Winters was sitting inside her house watching Cesar Millan's show when suddenly the power went out. The temperature plummeted to dangerous levels, and she realized her generator wasn't working due to the heavy snowfall. She then witnessed a car skid off the road and get stuck in her driveway. To her surprise, the person in the car was none other than Cesar Millan, who had accidentally gotten lost in the storm while on his way to give a speech. Millan, seeing the elderly woman in danger, didn't hesitate to spring into action. He helped Winters navigate through the deep snow, bringing her 3 dogs with him, and created a safe shelter in her old barn. With the flickering light of a small fire in the biting cold, Millan turned a harsh moment into a true survival lesson. He arranged dry grass to create a windbreak, allowing the 3 dogs to lie near the warmth of the fire, keeping Winters cozy through the freezing night. However, what truly kept her awake that night were the stories Millan shared about his difficult childhood in Mexico, the failures, and the dreams that never came true. Winters recalls, "I realized he wasn't just telling me stories. He was trying to keep me awake because he understood that if I fell asleep in the cold, I might never wake up." The next morning, when Millan left, Winters was saved by the warmth of the 3 dogs and the small fire. Rescue workers later said that without that warmth, she wouldn't have survived. When asked about his actions, Millan didn't take credit or boast. Winters said, "He just said, 'The woman has 3 beautiful dogs.' That's the essence of Cesar Millan. He didn't think he did anything extraordinary or deserving of praise. He simply did what needed to be done to save a life and 3 loyal dogs." Winters' story not only moved the courtroom, but also painted a true portrait of a man who not only understands animals, but also understands compassion, responsibility, and quiet sacrifice. When Judge Raymond Morris sentenced Cesar Millan to life imprisonment on the most serious charges, the entire courtroom was in shock. Many couldn't believe their ears, and in that moment, the man who had maintained his composure throughout the trial, Cesar Millan, finally broke down. The man known for his confidence and calm in every situation now bowed his head for the first time, his hands trembling as he wiped away tears. His voice cracked with emotion as he spoke his final words before being taken away. "I just wanted to help. I wanted to create balance. I wanted to save dogs, those abandoned creatures. I wanted to teach people that with patience and the right leadership, relationships can be healed. If I've failed or made mistakes along the way, I am ready to take responsibility, but my heart has never strayed from the right purpose." The moment Millan was led away, he turned back and delivered a deeply emotional message to his supporters. Take care of the dogs. Don't let them fight for food. Teach them with love and patience. Don't give up on the principles. Remember that calmness, determination, and balanced energy are the key, not just for dogs, but for life. This work must continue, even if I can't be the one to lead it. Those words struck the hearts of everyone in the courtroom. Many of the jurors were in tears as Millan was taken away, and hundreds of supporters, along with their dogs, gathered outside the courthouse, holding signs with poignant messages. "Who will help the helpless dogs now?" And "Cesar saved my family." The verdict was a shock not only to animal lovers, but also to the mothers and grandmothers who had seen in Millan not just a dog trainer, but a teacher of patience, perseverance, and leadership values, applicable not just to pets, but to families and life itself. That day, Millan left the courtroom not only carrying the weight of his sentence, but also leaving behind a big question. Who would step up to continue the mission he had devoted his life to? Patricia Williams, a 67-year-old grandmother of 5, still couldn't believe the verdict Cesar Millan had received. "He wasn't just a dog trainer. He was the one who changed my family's life," Williams shared, her voice filled with emotion. "He taught me about setting boundaries with love, about staying calm in crises, and how our energy impacts those around us. These principles not only helped me change my dog, but also made me a better grandmother to my grandchildren." Williams wasn't the only one supporting Millan. She was among thousands who wrote letters to him during his incarceration, contributing to his legal defense fund during the appeal process. The letters were not only expressions of sympathy, but also symbols of a firm belief that justice would prevail. "He gave us hope when we were ready to give up on dogs with problems. We won't give up on him now," Williams emphasized. Elizabeth Morgan, 59, flew all the way from Seattle to attend the sentencing hearing, standing alongside her, demonstrating the strength of their unwavering support and belief in Millan. Max, Morgan's loyal service dog, was once a German Shepherd deemed too aggressive to rehabilitate. However, after being trained using Millan's methods, Max became a living testament to the achievements Millan had made. Morgan recalled that before Max entered her life, she was almost confined to her home due to PTSD. Max, who was scheduled to be euthanized due to his aggressive behavior, was given a final chance thanks to Millan's techniques. "Now, Max helps me recognize signs of panic attacks before they happen, guides me in public, and, most importantly, has given my life back to me." Morgan is not alone. Thousands of dogs like Max and people like her have found hope through Millan's compassion. Despite the harsh verdict, Millan's legal team remained optimistic about the appeal process. They pointed out several procedural issues during the trial that they believed would provide a solid foundation to challenge the conviction and the severity of the sentence. "A life sentence for a non-violent offense related to animal training methods is unprecedented and entirely disproportionate," said Rebecca Martinez, Millan's lead attorney. "We strongly believe in Mr. Millan's innocence, especially regarding the most serious charges." The legal team is confident that the appellate court will recognize the important legal issues that arose during the trial. Despite the prison walls, Millan remained steadfast. In a heartfelt letter shared by his family, Millan expressed deep gratitude to those who continued to support him. "My body may be limited, but my spirit will never be confined. Every day I receive hundreds of letters from people sharing how their lives have changed and how their dogs have been saved thanks to the principles I have been fortunate to learn." These stories became the driving force for Millan to continue his mission. "Our work is not just about training dogs, but also about opening hearts, minds, and homes to the creatures who need us. This work must continue, whether I am here or not," Millan shared. Outside the prison bars, thousands continue to fight for Millan. They are not just fighting for one person, but for a philosophy of life, an approach that has helped countless families find peace and millions of dogs live better lives regardless of their circumstances. Cesar Millan's spirit continues to radiate strength, calmness, and determination, just as the values he has dedicated his life to promoting. And so, we've delved into the emotional and painful moments of Cesar Millan's life. Despite being famous for his ability to train and connect with dogs, behind the spotlight, there are challenges that only the strongest can overcome. Cesar's story is a testament to the fact that, no matter how tough life gets, mental strength and resilience can help us stand firm. If you've been moved by what Cesar Millan has done, now is the time to take action. Together, we can show the world the incredible impact he's had on millions of dogs and the families that love them. More importantly, we can help bring Millan back to where he belongs, continuing his mission to help these precious creatures. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread the word.